South Texas Amateur Tour Podcast, The Power Hour, with your hosts, Travis Sirkowski, Michael Emanuelian, Casey Graham, Jason Bird, and Brad Gilbert.
What is going on? South Texas Amateur Golf Tour, MD here. Hope everyone is having a wonderful Wednesday. It is 7:32 in the evening, October 23rd, and the playoffs have come to a conclusion. We now have a full team for the South Texas Match Play Challenge, and we have a lot to discuss tonight. We have rounds 3 and 4 to talk about, highlight the golf course, highlight the great golf that took place, talk about our winners, talk about our new team members. We have a special guest joining the show tonight in Steve Evans, which we are excited to have him on. And we have a lot to talk about as the South Texas Match Play Challenge team has been completed, playoffs over, and we are on to Riverside. Before we do anything, let's go ahead and bring out the boys. You guys know him. You love him. Recently made his debut as an on-course commentator and videographer. The man with a plan, the mustache that refuses to quit, my friend, Brad Gilbert. Hey, buddy.
What's up, MD? How you doing?
I'm doing good, buddy. It's been a busy couple of days, but excited to be here, excited to be doing this. How are you doing?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. We just got to soccer practice. I was just running a little bit late, so no, I'm good. I'm happy to be here, man. Really excited to talk about the horse race. You mentioned the videography stuff a little bit. I know we'll talk more about it here shortly, but that was intense. I was trying to catch all the action, and man, you guys were playing some awesome golf. But that's all I'll say about that until we get to it.
We'll certainly talk more about it. I have nothing but great things to say about the commentating. Joining us now, the captain of the South Texas Match Play Challenge team, the commissioner of the tour, the father, the husband, the big brother, the creepy weird neighbor. You know him, you love him. Travis Sirkowski.
There he is.
Creepy, weird neighbor that in the van down by the river. I love it. What's up? Heck yeah, BG. I want to echo that sentiment that the horse race was amazing, and I cannot wait to talk about it.
Yeah.
Can you just sit back and think for a second that the 2024 regular season and playoffs are done? It's over.
It's done. Unbelievable. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
I feel like we were just at Monster Day, getting all that stuff started, and just
at Riverside, walking, just at Fort Sam on the Greater Hill Country Division, or at TPC.
Yeah.
And we just ripped through Northern Hills. We ripped through Brackenridge Park, and we have a South Texas Match Play Challenge team.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, it's flown by. So excited to talk about it. We do have our special guest, Steve Evans, in the back. I want to bring him on because though he didn't play this weekend, his involvement cannot be underscored. There are rumors that he's going to get an automatic team spot going forward, strictly so he can start tournaments.
We definitely floated that idea. Having Steven Evans started Tour Championship weekend, he was the ambassador starter for round 3 and round 4. Thank you so much, Steven. I'm sure we're going to talk about this, and everyone is going to hear Steven's accent in full force tonight, and just picture that on a loudspeaker on Tour Championship weekend, announcing your name to the first tee. Yeah. It was special. It was cool.
I've never played the old course, but there was moments when I heard him announcing names. I was like, man, this must be what it's like to play at St. Andrews. It's pretty cool.
Well, let's go ahead and welcome to the program Steven Evans, South Texas Match Play Challenge team member Steve Evans.
The Red
What's
Dragon
going on, buddy?
himself.
Evening, gents.
Oh,
Well,
see,
there it
that's
is.
what I'm talking about right there. Who
Love
else
it.
can say that? Like, oh,
No one without sounding like a tool.
I
Right.
know, right? So bad. You know, years ago, this is Steven. Steven made his 5th team this year, 5th in a row.
Thanks, Fitz.
And long ago, I told Steven, I apologize, but I just slip into the shitty accent when I'm talking to him, and I'm just sorry in advance. And, you know, he used to tell me when I would say stuff, and it would be like, "Oh, that was okay," and then he would laugh most of the time.
Hilarious.
Oh, been long enough.
I hear a child in the background, Steven.
Yeah, I have Maddie right here next. It's almost bath time, so it's bath and bedtime in the Evans house, so it's about to get pretty wild.
Well, let's talk about the weekend. I don't think we can start talking about the tournament and talking about the golf until we talk about the golf course first. I think without question, we have to give a huge shout out to the trail, shout out to Brack's team over there for putting together, making that golf course. We say it all the time, but this was really probably the best condition we've ever played. The greens, at the very least, might have been the best we've ever seen.
For sure.
I think it was phenomenal. And I think that when we were there 3.5 weeks ago for the PC Open, it had just been dry ejected 3 days before, and I even thought that was pretty okay.
They rolled great then too.
This was as close to, am I going to use the word mint?
Yeah.
From what I saw, they were rolled. The greens were rolled great,
and the fairways were good, and the collars were good. The bunker edging was awesome at Northern Hills and at Brackenridge Park. I thought it was a really good show at Brackenridge Park.
My only critique is maybe turn the water off on the 9th tee box. That was standing water to tee off from.
A little damp in the shade there, maybe.
But yeah.
The conditions were so good that I didn't complain about the tree on 16 at all this weekend.
I certainly wasn't the tree on 16 that caused problems.
Yeah.
I don't particularly care for that tree either, but
just trim it just a little bit.
It's there. It's there. We gotta deal with it, I guess, right?
Exactly. And the only reason I complained before is because I couldn't get it over it, and that's just on me. I think we're having problems with Steven's mic not coming through.
It's not working.
There we go.
There
we go. We got you there. We didn't hear your comment.
I said that tree on 16 is like mine and Travis's hair. It just needs a bit of a trim on the edges.
Yeah.
That's it.
I got good volume today.
Great volume. So let's talk about Saturday's round. Saturday at Brack, arguably some of the tougher pins that we've put out for Brack, and you couple that with the fact that we saw a nice bit of wind over the weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
It was certainly windier than I planned for on some of the tee box sets with the setup committee and whatnot. And this was the third year in a row that the setup committee used the same hole rotation.
Yep.
So it really was Tour Championship weekend set.
And they were in, we put a couple were in slightly different positions. What we really played around with were some of the tee boxes and stuff like that. I have the stats from day 1 and day 2, so we can talk about which holes played the hardest. I think we all kind of have a good guess as to what happened on Saturday, which hole was chewing everybody up.
For sure.
But it was probably one of the more challenging days at Brack that we've seen. Scores.
What day was the flag front right on 6?
Front right on 6 would have been
Sunday.
on Sunday.
Yeah. Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the gnarliest one on Sunday. I think that was Snuggle Pie up there.
Whenever you
agree.
play Brack before event, you know that's where the pin's going to be, right? Front right on 6.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And front right on 6, middle left on 18, or as Steven would say, 18.
I mean, number 6 actually played the same.
Both days.
It ranked the same both days.
Oh, fantastic! I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump ahead. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. But we'll talk more about some of those holes because obviously we all have a couple of holes this weekend that kind of stick out to us as what the hell just happened. And there's a couple of holes out there on Saturday and Sunday that played extremely tough, and historically that wouldn't be the case necessarily. And again, it ties all back into the wind, ties back into tee boxes.
North wind blowing 20 at Brack is weird.
It's a very different feel, and it's a very different course at that point. Brad, talk to us about your weekend. Obviously, you came into the weekend. Main goal here is already on the team. I want to win the Tour Championship. Talk to us about the weekend. Talk to us about how you felt your game was, how you played, and really just, how you feel about, where you finished and how you're kind of rolling into South Texas now.
Yeah. I came in a pretty good spot, number 1. I knew playing the champ flight is going to be pretty tough.
Did you catch that? Did everybody catch that? I came in at a pretty good spot, number 1.
Yeah.
There's some foreshadowing.
Yeah, right. Did not stay at number 1, obviously. But playing a champ flight, you got to bring it every time. Well, every flight you got to bring it every time, but especially champ flight. So I knew it was going to be tough. But I was playing with Dustin and Sean day 1, and they showed why they are some excellent golfers and at the top of the leaderboards all the time, because the quality that they showed in the wind and those conditions of the wind and everything was really cool to watch. I played a lot with Sean and Dustin before. So I know what they're capable of, but it was just, it's just always fun to see the ball striking from those two. And we were talking about wind, like on Saturday on 14, I hit a really good driver and a really good 4 hybrid just to get to the middle of the green, and that pin was in the back, all the way back there. So that hole was playing really difficult.
What about, what hole was that, 18?
14.
14.
14.
What was 18
feet
like
deep.
on Saturday?
So 18 was crazy. Say it again, Steven.
18 was brutal on Saturday. Well, I did.
Yeah.
18. I think 18 on Saturday really reshaped the entire playoffs. It really did, and reshaped what Sunday was going to look like.
That's a bold statement, Cotton.
Statistically, it's accurate.
Yeah, for sure.
I shouldn't say that. We're going to get copyrighted on Facebook.
So 18
rough.
on Saturday.
Yeah, right.
18 on Saturday. It was into the wind, right? Obviously, it was 172 yards. It was probably playing closer to 195 or so. But I had grabbed a 6-iron thinking that 180 to 185 yard shot would be sufficient, right? But I never committed to it all the way. So I just skanked one to the right, probably about 50, probably about 140 yards. It ended up hitting a rock and bouncing left into that collection area. I guess it's collection area, on the par 3 to the left there. But the rough is so thick that I was thankful that the ball was up, but I knew the second shot was going to be even probably more difficult, because now I'm trying to pitch a shot over the water, and obviously, it's just, the grass was super thick, so I almost hit it into the water on my second shot, and then I managed to chip it up and 2-putt. But it was extremely, extremely difficult hole on Saturday.
I think the first. So you were in the first group out. I was in the group right behind you. 2 threesomes played 18 on Saturday at +9.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah,
Fun.
I'm sorry, I'm talking to Bob in the comments. I'm sorry.
You gotta say the whole name or he doesn't drink.
Bob
Yes,
North.
I know, right?
Talking about Bob
The
North.
first two groups were threesomes on Saturday and Sunday,
And the first two groups played 18
at +9 for the six
Yeah.
of them.
I mean,
It was great.
I contributed 2 of those.
I mean, I definitely missed a bogey there. That bogey hurt the worst out of everything all weekend because that was I played like trash on the front 9 and
Steven, that front flag stick there is only what, 10, 12 paces from the OB line, you think?
Yeah, front right Saturday. Yeah,
What does that feel like looking from that back tee? The wind's kind of quartering away from the OB though, right? Kind of knocking it down into the pond there. But
Sure.
Yeah.
how visual? And Steven and I get to kick back, and I asked Steven this on purpose because he didn't play, right? What does that feel like back there with that OB real snuggle pie to the front right corner, really?
I mean, it's like, where do you miss it, right? There's no good miss.
Just get to the starter shack.
I mean, you'd rather be there than OB. Maybe hit 2 clubs more.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
And
I
I
mean,
saw a ball back there on Saturday.
West at Irie, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, Weston.
And I believe he made a good look at par from back there too.
Yeah.
I think he made bogey, but he gave it a good look for a 3, I think.
For sure.
I mean, there were a lot of. I mean, that pin on 18 on Saturday. I mean, personally, I didn't find it to be a terribly difficult pin. It was really just came down to the fact that you're just staring down a longer shot into the wind, and you're just not necessarily ready to hit that. It's just it's a lot.
Historically, the setup committee likes to play 18 at Brack a little shorter, and you kind of cross the bridge on 18, and it's like, oh, it's not on this tee box, and then you walk across the rough and up the hill, and you're like, oh, these are the greens. It's like another 14 paces.
Exactly.
Where the black-blue combo is.
Yeah.
I mean, I still like the tee boxes. I think, again, if you're there on Saturday, you're one of the top 54 players on the tour at the moment.
I completely agree. That the tour setup committee looks at round 2 and round 3 as the biggest days on tour throughout the year, right? Round 1, 84, 88 players. Okay, cool. Cut 8, 10, 12. 7 people got cut this year. And then all of a sudden, the next day, 18 people go home. And then the next day, 18 people go home. Right? Those 2 days show up to play. And then everybody knows where every flag stick's going to be on Tour Championship Sunday. Right?
Yeah, I mean, and it's
enough. Tour Championship Sunday was enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's Sunday at Brack is what it's going to be, and I think a lot of people went home on Saturday night knowing they're coming back and kind of taking some stock in how they played and looking how to make the adjustments, because I mean that the course did chew up a lot of people, and it seemed like the back 9 seemed to get the best of everybody. 14 and 18, 17 played really hard. We'll talk a little bit about that. That is a shocking number up there. So I mean, it's one of those things. Like Brack is short, but you can make Brack pretty difficult if you really want to in the right conditions.
One of those times. I'm sure you're going to put up graphics here in a second. We'll talk about course difficulty and that good stuff. But it was one of those times where you can really see nerves on the stat sheet.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
There's a 340-yard par 4 that just happens to be easy as shit, but it just happens to be the first hole. And there is no way it should be the second or third ranked most difficult hole. at
So-
Blackbridge Park,
First
but
team.
you
So-
really
so
get to see
let's-
the nerves on the stat sheet.
Let's talk. So let's talk about Saturdays. Let's talk about the top 3 hardest holes on Saturday, top 3 easiest holes on Saturday. Anyone want to guess?
Top 54, all flights, all tee boxes.
All flights, all tee boxes. Anyone want to
Four.
venture to guess in the comments or
Agree.
on here what was number 1?
14.
Yeah, I agree. 14. Yeah.
14.
I do not have it pulled up.
I do. I have it sitting right here.
I have my camera off because I'm eating a salad. And I hate Jason eats on screen, so I turn my camera off.
A salad.
Number 14 was not the hardest hole of the day on Saturday.
Number 18, Saturday, number 18.
Oh yeah, probably 18 on Saturday for sure.
18 was ranked number 1. You had 1 birdie.
Whoa, who
17.
was that?
Yeah, who
I-
was that?
I do not have that. I
If
do
you
not
are
have that.
watching
It-
right now and you birdied 18 on Saturday, we want to know.
That's
Did
Yeah.
you see it, Steven?
So you had one birdie, 17 pars, 17 bogeys, 9 double bogeys, and 7 others. It played at a 4.2.
Birdie on 18.
Austin Perryman.
Oh
I
man,
believe it.
why am I
There
not
you go.
surprised?
that's
But that being said, in second place, 14. 14 played at 5.1.
Yeah.
Oh, just a stroke. Ah,
So no, let's see, 14 had 0 birdies, 12 pars, 26 bogeys, 10 doubles, 3 others.
Yeah. I mean, it was playing almost as long as it can
I mean,
into the wind. It's pretty tough.
it definitely was. It definitely was. It felt when I made par on 14, and that felt like an eagle to me almost.
What was that,
And,
Steven?
and
the second shot on 14 is so different to every other second shot you have on that golf course.
yeah, well,
You can't-
especially if you're.
Can't miss it short, left, right, or not.
Yeah.
But it's even tougher because the way that wind is blowing, it wants to push you back into the tree line down the left. That's where I found myself. I was 190 out in the trees, and I had to maneuver a 7-wood to the front of the green somehow. So I think what is the most shocking of the rankings here. Anyone want to venture to guess what the 3rd hardest hole on Saturday was?
8. That's what I would guess.
It went 18, then 14.
Well, I got it all here. 18 and 14.
Okay.
So
I'm
third hardest
recapping
hole.
because I'm not looking at it. I'm trying
Yeah.
to participate
Okay.
with it right now.
Thank you, Danny. 14 was fun.
I would say 8.
8.
I don't
Steven?
know why, I just feel 8.
No downwind to that front hole location. No.
Oh, Saturday was front hole. Yeah, that's right.
I'm gonna go with my nerves comment, but from before. I'm gonna say number 1.
Okay.
Mm.
Bob North says hole number 7. I think it's a good guess.
That's a good
Number
If
2.
you can believe it, the 3rd hardest hole, playing at a 4.9, hole 17.
Oh, interesting.
Hole 17 hosted 4 birdies, 22 pars, 13 bogeys, 8 double bogeys, and 4 other.
Where was the pin on Saturday?
Pin, it was left. It was
Left front.
left middle almost, or left front.
It was a red pin. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, 4 birdies seems crazy to me where that pin was.
Yeah.
That's like the easiest. That's like 5-iron sand wedge.
Yeah, I mean, I think I went 5-iron, 60 degree, and I made my putt.
Oh.
I mean, it was a tough pin, but I mean, it wasn't that tough a pin, but it was. I don't know if the wind or if people were getting a little bit too aggressive off the tee or what. But that is extremely shocking to see 17 at the 3rd spot.
It is.
Now that being said, anyone want to? Jesus.
Bob
Anyone?
Two.
I mean, even some of these, the easiest hole. Anyone want to guess the easiest hole of the day?
It's got to be
15.
3.
13? Gotta be.
13.
So
Oh yeah, you're right.
the first, second, and third hardest holes were on the back 9. The first, second, and third easiest holes were all on the front.
3.
9?
Yeah, there's gonna be
Probably
9. And then it's gonna be my bullshit's gonna be wrong and Brad bullshit's gonna be wrong. There's gonna be 1 and 8.
In order from easiest to third easiest.
Come on.
Number
come on.
8 played at the 18th ranked hole.
8 was the
Dang.
easiest. There you go. Okay.
Eight up,
That's
eight,
better.
eight,
More than
eight
me.
in the middle left, or middle center almost. Pretty gettable. It played at a 3.24. Only 4 birdies, but mostly pars and double.
And that was a
mostly
T
pars and
box up too.
bogeys. That was
Yeah,
T
it's
box
pretty
up.
short.
Yes, we're still talking about Saturday.
17. The 17th ranked hole of the day. Number 1.
There we go. There's my bullshit.
There's your bullshit,
Okay.
Trav. Played at a
I
4.27.
love being completely wrong live on the air. It's so much fun.
Eight birdies, 26 pars, 13 bogeys, and a combined 4 for double and other.
Oh, man. It's got to be 3
And
for the
then
next one.
rounding out the top 3 easiest, hole number 9.
Yeah.
Good
Which I
job,
doubled
Bob
both.
North.
So fun fact, number 9 saw 5 double bogeys. I provided one of them. Number 9 played at 5.3, 12 birdies,
I'd like to
24
shout out MD there because he was so quick to talk about his birdie 30 seconds ago. But I just want to point out that he also talked about his cool triple there. His
So
cool
it was a
double.
double. We can talk about my triple on Sunday next. And we can talk about my double on 9 on Sunday as well.
I can't wait to talk about that Sunday round.
Dude,
I had front row seat.
you had front row seats to it. The Saturday round I thought was, I make the turn at 4 over on Saturday, get myself back to even through 17 and just a stupid bogey on 18.
Which
But seven-
double was more fun to make? The one on 9 on Saturday or the one on 9 on Sunday?
Not Sunday.
Sunday hole 9 was definitely
What day
like,
did you yell at me? Did you yell at me on Saturday or Sunday?
I yelled at you on Saturday.
Oh, okay.
I came off the green on Saturday. Travis, I had not seen all day.
I was having a great day. I was having a
great
fantastic day. Steven was starting. Brad Gilbert and Mark Krzyzewski did setup.
Yeah, Travis
Marina
didn't
was
have
at
to
the
really do
starter
anything
stint
on
with
Saturday.
Greg. I didn't know what to do because everything was done. So I was going to go Marshall Champ Flight. I had nothing better to do than go Marshall Championship Flight. And I just got in the cart. And the first group that I pull up to is my buddy MD. And I'm excited to see him.
I make a double on 9. I just spent 9 holes playing with Weston Irie, playing with Danny Lee, playing with Dustin Weldon, who were like combined.
Who are like leading the tournament.
They're all leading the tournaments, like 7 under for all of them combined. And I just doubled to go 4 over. And Travis, Travis being Travis and obviously not watching the scoreboards, like, what's going on, buddy? I'm like, Travis, get the fuck out of my face. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk. Just get away from me right now. Just go.
I believe it was, I'm not in the mood to talk. Just keep effing driving.
Yeah, it was something like that. I was not in a good space, but as I talked about last week, which everyone was quick to laugh at, which is you got to bounce back from shit, and there it is.
I was quick to point out the maturity, not laugh.
Yes. But yeah, so Saturday and Sunday for me, the front 9 played at +10, I think, or something like that. And I think I played the back 9 this weekend at maybe 6 under. Like, it's a very stupid thing.
What a roller coaster round for MD on Sunday, man.
No, Sunday was somehow way worse on the front 9.
Yeah.
Sunday, 18 golfers go home. All of that point information is available on the website on the playoff tab. Big green button on the home page. Click here for info, final results from the playoffs. Everything we're talking about is there, including the Golf Genius links, including the point standings with the cuts, including skins, all of that good stuff.
And we are going to pull up the list because I think the other really interesting thing here is talking about everyone who came into the tournament on that Saturday at Northern, where everyone kind of sat in their position, and then looking at Sunday at BRAC and just seeing the dramatic change.
Yeah, where they came from, where they started in the point standings versus where they finished. No one with 0 points this year.
Exactly. This was one of those years no one was 0 points, but we did have several people who started out in the 30s and 40s positions.
Yep.
Did make their way to the team. I mean, I got to watch a couple of people in Danny Lee and Weston Irie this weekend who played absolutely insane lights out. Danny Lee, I think, went even both days. Weston Irie showed up at 10:40 to our 10:40 tee time.
Nearly wasn't playing the weekend.
Yeah. He, I mean,
he was one stoplight away from not participating.
Yeah.
And I mean, Danny goes and peels out into the parking lot, grabs him. He's barely got his shoes tied, no practice, hits his first tee shot, and the first thing he does to kickstart the day is drop a 25-foot putt from off the green.
That's awesome.
Almost identical to where Austin Perry was in the horse race. Like, it was ridiculous.
Before he scratched his name out, I said, "Oh, Weston's not coming."
I mean, you just see his car just haul ass into the parking lot, like, I'm here.
And now the team, it's so great.
I want to play. So we get to Sunday. Sunday is the big day. Sunday, top 36. It's it is the day. There is no tomorrow.
The day.
Yeah.
There is no tomorrow for most of these golfers. Everyone out there teeing off has a chance to make the team. But that task, especially if you're in the, bottom of it and you're in that, 36 to maybe 25 range, it's a daunting task. It's a must-win almost situation.
And we saw that.
We saw
it, and that was really cool.
It's interesting that you point out that must-win, because we'll talk about that a little bit in the point standings. About where was that in the point standings line where it became a win and in versus a win in horse race versus a win and or out, right? Where was that line in the point standings?
And Sunday's always interesting too, because, and we'll talk about this, one putt changes 6 different outcomes.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy.
3 putt changes it all. 2 putt changes everything.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, and when you're separated, I was talking about it on the podcast live at BRAC after the round, and we were doing some interviews. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, go watch it.
That is a really good segment when the final scores were being tallied, and MD was doing interview after interview in the pavilion. That's on Facebook. That's on YouTube. Go watch that. That's really good. That is really good video.
Really good insights from a lot of people who ended up being on the team, who made the team. And one of the things that we talked about was 9th place, 10th place, and 11th place were separated by 1 point. In 9th and 10th, or 9th and 10th were separated by 0.35, 3/5, or a third of a point.
Yeah, I think we need to point out too that based on some preliminary math before the round, we were telling people that roughly 623 or something, 620 points.
Yep.
Yes.
623 was the target.
So that's what they were kind of expecting. Nothing's guaranteed. We didn't say for sure that that's the point, but
my guess was what, 30 light?
I think so.
I think it was 680, right? 680 was the horse race.
Was the last number in the horse race.
Yeah, so that just adds to the nerves. Like, people are adding their score up. They're like maybe 630, 640. They think maybe they're okay. And all of a sudden, that's not.
Realistically, first out was 642. So 643 would have been the line. for the horse race. So 6:43, I was 20 off.
Which, I mean, isn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. Pins were in their pretty typical spot. We saw wind, but it's Sunday. It's Brack. It is playoffs, final round. You don't need to necessarily make that course incredibly hard to have it play difficult with the nerves. And we saw that pretty easily going, looking at the rankings and looking at the holes. Hole number 1, I think, at ranked at number 3, had everyone shaking in their boots off that first tee. For kicking off the day. I love you guys, but can you turn off the background music? I can't even hear the background music.
I can't hear it either. Is it loud?
It's coming through mine.
Is it loud? Like, is it too loud?
It wasn't too loud for me. No,
okay.
That's better.
I've turned it down. I've turned it down.
There we go. We turned it down for you, Jeremy. Thanks for letting us know.
Thank you for the helpful shout out. So hole number 1 on Sunday, played the third hardest hole. Only had 1 birdie on the day,
You're
18
welcome,
pars. You're welcome, sir. 18 pars, 9 bogeys, and 7 double and others combined. So number 1, I think on Sunday did what you would anticipate. It's everyone standing on that tee box and kind of shaking a little bit because it's go time now.
It's the difference with Stephen announcing on Sunday versus Saturday, right?
But I mean, you talk about difficulty here in a 1-2 punch. Number 1 ranked at the third hardest. Number 2 ranked at the second hardest.
What?
Wow.
And then number 3 ranked as easiest?
Number 3 ranked as number 8.
Oh,
that's a tough pin.
All right.
And number 2, I mean, number 2 on Sunday saw 1 birdie, technically 2, but saw 1 birdie in regular play. 10 pars, 17
which we will see video of in a second, I'm sure.
Which you'll see video.
Yeah.
Which I asked for, right? I asked for it specifically, so I know it's coming.
Yes. And then rounding out, and the toughest hole of the day was 14, which wasn't surprising.
Yeah, and I just want to say, from my perspective, it was very unique because we were talking about the nerves and everything. The pairing that I had on Sunday was very comfortable for me. Hopefully, it was for the rest of us. Me, MD, Mark Kucheski, and Danny Lee. And man, throughout the whole
good group.
Oh yeah, it's a great group. And
That group.
right.
Wow.
And it was like I was on the team already, and I was desperate to win. Right, I want to win every time I go out there. But the desperation that I could feel from MD, Mark Kucheski, and Danny Lee was so intense. I was just trying to stay out of their way, to be honest with you, because the nerves. I mean, you could tell with every single shot just didn't go the way that they wanted to. It was an emotional response every time, and I will say I play with MD a lot. It was more than what I've ever seen before. So I knew the nerves were going. I knew like they were feeling the pressure. They were desperate to be on the team. And it was just a different feeling on Sunday. It was absolutely intense. It was crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it was, I think everybody was dealing with that. It's, I was talking to David Thomas about it, and I was talking to Weston about it too. It's, there's something to be said. Like if I'm in 34th coming into Sunday, okay, I know I pretty much have to win. Otherwise I'm maybe playing for fun more than anything here.
Sure.
It really sucks to in some ways when you're in that 1st through 15th, it's super tight and you are 1 screw up away from just tossing it all. And knowing that, you're in that situation. So, yeah, I mean, it was Danny. I think Danny played solid all weekend, all day.
Yeah.
I don't think he was necessarily
He's
grinding
played
it out.
so good down the stretch.
Yeah, I don't.
Sunday.
Danny Lee shot a 31 on the back 9 on Sunday.
Yep.
That was one of the most impressive things I've seen.
Yep. And I definitely in our group, Mark and I were really down the stretch there, starting. I think once we kind of got to 12, 13. We're both kind of in a position where we are, and we both have, the option of make some birdies down the stretch, or we're in a little bit of trouble. So it's a difficult thing, and especially when you've got a couple of really tough holes down the stretch, and you got to go try and make some birdies. Because I mean, you look at some of those holes on the back nine. I mean, 16 played the 5th hardest hole of the day on Sunday.
And I'll say the chip in. So the turn for MD, really, like, he was grinding the whole round. Like, the front nine whooped his butt. He was still in it, still being strong. But the turn for MD was chipping in from about 30 yards off the green on 16. And I could see the switch turn, and he was going to finish at 17 and 18 pretty strong.
It's very, very common that you're going to see me express the negative emotions, and very rarely are you going to see me crack a smile. For me to do a fist pump and for me to kind of get into it like that, I was really, really happy in that moment, because it was.
So I was watching the leaderboard, and as long as we're talking about MD, on about hole 9, I started texting with
worrying
Brad.
about me.
Yeah.
Started texting with Brad a little bit about.
You were texting Casey. You were texting Brad.
I wasn't texting Casey. I never texted Casey. I left your pairing on the golf course alone, and then 11, you bogeyed 11.
Yep.
And then Brad texted me again, and then I texted back to Brad, and we were making plans.
Yeah.
And then you birdied 15, and then I walked out. I was with Steven.
I missed the eagle on 13. I just missed the eagle on 13.
You
tapping
birdied
par.
13. Yeah.
Good par on 14. I played 15 at 2 under this weekend.
I was at the scoring area with Steven, and I said, I can't stand here. I'm going out there to follow MD. I walked out there.
I was like, we need to get the information for the horse race or whatever we're going to do right now before the end of the round.
Yes, right. And I walked out there, and I crossed the bridge on 7. Like, I walked past 17, and I crossed the bridge on 17. I walked up to like the cart path corner as y'all were walking past me, and MD starts looking for his ball in the woods by the fence on the right. And I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, this is it. He's going to have to walk backwards to the tee. This is it.
I hit a provisional. Don't worry.
Which I didn't see. And then they found it, and then he chipped out. And I was talking with the group that was 2 groups in front of you coming up. And I look back, and I see MD go like this. And he just casually walks to the hole and bends over. And I'm like, you made it. He made it. Like, it was so cool. And then you just missed a birdie on 17 and lipped in on 18.
That
so the
video...
combination of your putt lipping in and Art Mesa's putt not going in dramatically shaped the entire Sunday of the playoffs.
Crazy.
So we'll talk about horse race. I want to jump into results. I want to talk about our winners, our top 15, talk about all of our team members, and I want to talk about where everyone kind of finished in the horse race. So I'm going to pull this up first. Where'd it go? So here's your breakdown of your winners. What was that?
I said I love this graphic. I love it. I don't have this picture. I love this.
Okay, so our tour champion, no shock here. Congratulations, nothing but love to the tour GOAT, Sean Vidal.
5-time player of the year. He's also the player of the year this year over Brad Gilbert by 3.5 points or some nonsense like that.
Well deserved.
It was super close. I can pull it up to see what it is, but it's single digits. I was texting with Sean after Sunday, and I agreed with a lot of people, and I agree with Sean that this was his best year. I mean, this is his best 100%. Year. I mean,
and for him, I mean, again, we talked about it on the interview after the round, and again, if you didn't get to watch it, go check it out. Sean was very open about the fact that this was probably the most meaningful season to him, battling back from injuries and having surgery, taking a while to kind of get his feel back. He played well by himself when he needed to. He had Dustin as a teammate throughout the season to kind of help add an extra level of skill that they needed. And the last 8 weeks, Sean tapped into something. He figured it out and just started playing the most unreal golf humanly possible.
The PCO, the best.
Easy. He's made it look so easy.
Extremely easy.
And BG hit on it earlier in this show, the 69 or 68 on Saturday that Sean shot was so casually easy.
Exactly.
It's awesome.
Yeah, he just made a bunch of pars and then a birdie, a couple of birdies.
It seems like no matter where he's at on the green, that putt is most likely going to go in. It doesn't matter how long it is.
I agree with that one.
Yeah, that's certainly what it feels like when you play with him. You're just like, okay, well, that's going in. So congrats to Sean, tour champion, 5th time. This is his 9th time as a South Texas Match Play Challenge team member as well. I mean, the man is the GOAT. There is no record that he does not hold on tour. It feels like
just Masters champion. That is it.
That's the only thing I'm
To the
remembering.
best of my knowledge, that's it.
and you got to think that is he's healthy, goes into next year. He hasn't had anything to prove for a long time, but you got to think that's the one missing jewel in that crown. So Sean Vidal, absolutely amazing. In 2nd place, played pretty much steady golf, as steady as can be all season. Cranked it up to an 11 throughout both weekends of the playoffs. Dustin Weldon finishing in 2nd. Michael Hudson, very similar situation. Steady golf, didn't come into the playoffs in a very high position, but played his ass off all 4 days. Walks in with 3rd. Tim Blunt having a really solid start to his playoffs, and consistent on Saturday, Sunday, finishes in 4th. This name cannot go without being called out. Art Mesa. Art Mesa, first time making the team. He's been in the horse race before, but
I think he's been in the horse race a couple times, I think, maybe.
I think it was just the one.
Yeah, that was 3 years ago when I
Yes,
first
yeah.
played for David Thomas, and I know
Yep.
he was in that one. Yeah.
And I know that this year for Art, Art really took, focused more on practicing, focused on, losing a little weight and getting in shape, and really just putting in time and effort into his game. And he had lots of practicing. He had a great
now.
He had a great day on Saturday and pushes himself into the top 10. I think everyone was asking
at San Pedro, and he goes to me. I was checking in. He goes, "Man, can't wait to have a golf bag with my name on."
Nice.
Well, you got one, buddy. You got
Yeah.
one.
Cool.
It's cool. This is my favorite one too, by the way. This is my favorite team golf.
and Art rolling in on Sunday in his classic Tiger black and red. There's not a lot of people, actually. In fact, there is nobody other than Tiger Woods and Art Mesa who I would ever let wear that on a Sunday. And Art channeled something. He channeled Tiger. Came out on Sunday, pretty much held the lead up until the last couple of holes. Had a couple of bogeys down the stretch, but finished in 2nd. Played great and secured his spot, 5th place, and a spot on the team. And there was no one happier that Sunday than Art Mesa.
That's not true.
That's not true. There was one person happier than Art Mesa, and it was David Thomas.
Right?
That's true. David Thomas was very happy.
Because
we'll
of
circle
Art
that.
Mesa.
So
Um,
it's important to note as we talk about these playoffs, we joke all year long that every point. David Thomas in the chat's facts. We talk all year long that every shot, every stroke, every point matters. Let's take a look at this graphic. Art Mesa is in 5th place. David Thomas is in 8th place. And then the next 4, starting with MD, are in red. That equals the horse race, which MD's getting to in just a second here. But Art Mesa 3-putted the 18th hole, which was enough for him to secure 5th place on his
This was
own,
fun.
right? Awesome. Big hug, tears. An awesome moment. Awesome moment. But that 3-putt dropped Art into a scorecard playoff with David Thomas for first place, which David Thomas won the scorecard playoff on, which gave him just enough points to be not in the horse race and automatically the last one to auto qualify for the team.
Mm.
Fantastic.
And if Art Mesa doesn't make that, if he 2-putts, I'd stay in. I get 8th place and don't have to go to the horse race.
the putt,
Yeah.
MD is in 8th place, and David Thomas drops to 13th place, and Corey Frazier is in the horse race. So
Corey Frazier-
that putt had reshaped the whole day.
And-
That putt not going in.
And if Jonathan Harder and Brad don't tie in the summer season, myself in 9th place or Corey Frazier
Yes.
in 9th place also get the wild card.
Yes, that's exactly correct. There was a tie.
The tie wild card?
No, there was a tie in the summer season for 3rd place. That's how 4 people made it instead of 3. And when that happens, the wild card's eliminated. That would have been MD, and that would have gotten Corey Frazier into the horse race.
Oh, my
So way to
bad,
go,
Corey.
Brad, stealing that from MD.
My bad,
But
Corey.
But that
missed
also
out.
being said, all of that happens. Art Mesa 2-putts, drops DT to 13th, and now DT goes into the horse race.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
the,
And then he would be first out, and Brad would have stolen his spot.
but that's what we're talking about. Is literally
Moral of the story: Brad Gilbert is a dick.
yeah.
Boom.
Moral of the story:
my middle
Brad
name.
made getting on the team for everybody so much worse.
It was
Oh,
great, and he just every comment. He's like, "Well, I was already on the team, so I."
Yeah,
I was
like
about to make a comment, but I understand. I was about to say,
like I'm
what
fighting
about
for my
John?
life here.
what about Jonathan Harder? But everybody likes Jonathan Harder, so yeah.
Yeah.
I'll fall on the sword.
That's so. I mean,
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
again, the whole thing,
It's all good.
And Casey, we will get to the final point separation. Weston played a great
Weston,
weekend.
amazing.
Finishes in
Amazing
6th. Danny Lee takes 7th.
Jonathan Harder in the comments. Nope, this one's on Brad.
Hart is like, I'm just gonna
That's-
chime in to make sure everyone knows this ain't my
That's-
shit.
Yep,
I see how it is, Jonathan.
Danny Lee gets 7th place. David Thomas, obviously, we know the outcomes that got him into that 8th position.
So
he was
David
very
Thomas-
excited not to do his 3rd straight year in the horse race.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just going to say. He spent the last 2 years in the horse race, won one of them, went out early last year. And fun fact, he had something like 1.5 more this year than he did last year, and that was just enough. Or it was so
Dang.
close, the amount of points he had last year to this year, and to be 8th instead of 9th for him was like when I called the points total, he knew what his point total was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
With a gross win. With a gross win.
With
in
a
his
gross
on
win.
Sunday.
Which was incredible. And
Yeah.
we'll talk a little bit about that here once we pull up final points. MD, 9th place, first into the horse race, followed by Austin Perriman. Rudy Fuentes at 11, Mark Kucheski at 12, Corey Frazier 13th. Charles Clark finishes in 14th, and rounding out the top 15, Dakota Albers
At least Dakota got a gift card this year.
For sure.
I-
for sure.
Dakota's put himself in good position on Sunday the last couple years, and has come up short a couple years. I was rooting for Dakota and Art. Art and Dakota were who I was rooting for.
Dakota shot 2 under on Saturday.
Yeah, he played a great round on Sunday to be in that last group on Sunday.
Yeah, for sure.
At one point.
So, and then our sponsor selections, obviously David Falconer and Rick Hoinsey on the team. And then with a captain's pick as well. We don't have his name on here, but we did add it after the fact. Captain's pick goes to our dear friend and partner, Ben Carricker.
Yes, sir.
So there is your roster.
Wow, that's a sexy graphic, everybody.
It is.
That is a very
my
attractive
favorite graphic of all time.
Even with Jonathan Harder on it.
Even with
Get
yes.
personal, Jonathan.
Yes. Yes. Living
again-
proof that surviving the first 3 rounds and winning on Sunday gets you a spot on the team. Quote,
It
David Thomas.
certainly does. Now I do want to look at this right here. Looking at our top 10 moving into the playoffs, you had Brad, Kacheski, Vidal, Graf.
On everybody, this is the starting playoff
And the
spot
final.
and the final side by side.
So the left side of your screen with all the yellow, that is the starting playoff position. Brad in first, Mark, then Sean, then Greg. And then on the right-hand side with the blue and the orange, that's the final position. The blue qualifying for the team and the orange, the horse race, and then Corey, Charles, and Dakota rounding out the top 15 with Brad finishing first out of the money.
Yes, sir. That's how.
What you get for being such a meanie, Brad.
But you look at some of these names that finished in those top spots. You look at Nart Mesa, Weston Irie, Danny Lee. Danny Lee came into the weekend in 41st. Austin Perryman gets to the horse race, started the event in 43rd. You have Weston Irie at 36, Dakota Albers at 37, Charles Clark at 40th.
Danny Lee?
Yeah, Danny Lee in 41st. Art Mesa and David Thomas neck and neck, 22nd and 23rd.
Yeah.
Michael Hudson at 28.
I do want to say really quick, I did not lose it. I played pretty good this weekend. All these guys above me, they went out and earned it. Like they absolutely earned it. So
I know we were making fun of Brad being a meanie there for a second. He's really the second nicest guy on the planet behind Greg Graff.
you don't have to qualify anything.
But
He likes playing the villain, though, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. It's all good.
But if you look at those names, if you look at the names on that list in blue that made the team outright in the playoffs, really with the exception of Tim Blunt, with the exception of Dustin Weldon, everybody else in blue came from 22nd or higher in the point standings.
Wow, that's cool.
That's good stuff.
And you look at the guys who made it to the horse race. I came in there in 6th place. I think. Let's see. Rudy Fuentes was in 10th. Chisel was hanging around somewhere in
Was
that.
in second.
Was in second, yeah.
In second place.
Yeah.
And then Austin Perriman in 43rd. He was the kind of the outlier. He obviously had the strongest weekend of the four of us in the horse race.
First net, and the same thing
with David Thomas. First gross gets you on the team. First net got Austin into the horse race.
Yep.
That's
So,
cool. That's a cool stat too.
That's
yeah.
pretty cool.
So really, really interesting. And really kind of cool how that whole thing played out. And of course, all of this set the stage. What we usually call the most exciting hour on the tour. It was an hour and a half.
It was an hour and a half.
It was a very.
Oh my goodness! It was.
Went an extra hole, right, than what we used to, extra hole or two.
It was certainly longer than we usually play. and that had a lot to do with I think maybe one of the tighter groupings as far as handicaps go. Maybe with the exception of Rudy at maybe a 17.
And even Rudy didn't show it until that putt lipped out.
Yeah.
Right? And he even played that hole well. And there were nerves abound. And what was it? 3, 5, 8, and Rudy was 15, 17, something like that.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to see 3 champ fighters.
That's exactly.
And Rudy held his own there. All golfers advanced on the first hole. That's rare.
Yeah. I mean,
all golfers advancing on the first hole has happened the exact same amount of times as it being over on the first hole.
Man.
I know.
Once?
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think last year it was over on the second hole. I think it was over on maybe the third hole the year before that. This year we took it to 5 holes.
Yeah, the year Ruben Carabello won it, it was on the third hole.
I think when Oil third hole too.
And it's only been won on the first hole 1 time or 2 times.
Jason Cross, right?
Jason Cross.
I think it's just Jason Cross.
I can think of, right?
Yeah, I think it's just the one. And
I will say real quick, watch out for Rudy Fuentes next year, because going through that pressure in that situation, that's an unteachable moment that Travis is always talking about.
Heck yeah, it is.
But you only get better from that.
There is nobody who wants it more in reverse order than Austin Perryman, Mark Kacheski, and Rudy Fuentes right now.
Yep.
They want it bad. So all 4 golfers advanced on the first hole, and the second hole provided. The second hole is where the fireworks started.
The second hole really kind of kicked off the last couple.
Been holding that putt from off the green.
For everybody that's just joining us, we are an hour in. It is October the 23rd. It's just after 8:30 p.m., 8:34 to be exact, and we are talking 2024 horse race. Playoffs are over. Final points are tallied. 4 golfers standing on the first hole: Austin Perryman, Mark Kacheski, Rudy Fuentes, and your host of the Power Hour podcast, Mike Dermanuelian. All 4 golfers advanced to hole number 2 with net pars on the first hole. I believe everybody net parred the first hole. And we haven't talked about this, but MD had a putt to end it on the first hole.
Yeah.
He did.
Yep.
Very tentative stroke. Very tentative stroke.
Yep. He just wanted. Listen, this was way better television. So good job.
It certainly produced better.
And there was
Sure.
some tee box drama on the second hole. Where do you want to stop talking about this, and you want to show the video?
I mean, I think we could show the video first. It's not gonna have every single shot. It's gonna have
Well, let's walk through it. Let's walk through the whole thing and show the video afterwards, eh?
Cool.
Yeah.
Quick fact,
so I mean, I'll let you guys do that. You guys were the ones watching and kind of. I was in a different.
Let's not
space.
talk to MD at all. That's the segment. It's just me, Steven, and Brad talking about what we saw, and we're not going to talk. You just mute. That's perfect.
So I got a fun fact that most people probably don't realize. To Steven's point, he just mentioned it earlier. Austin Perryman had 2 putts through 4 holes in the horse race because he made 2 of them from off the green. So that's kind of crazy.
Wow. Okay, so on and MD was what, 2 under in the horse race?
Yeah, 2 under.
Net
Yep.
3 under.
Yep.
I have a net hole in 1.
To be talking.
I'm sorry.
Yes. So on 2, MD he's off first, right? MD hits it. Because I was up by the green. MD hit a great shot into 2, just past pin high. And
this full video is on the Facebook page, and it's awesome. I mean, it is awesome play-by-play.
Yeah.
Go watch it. It is good television. So everything we're talking about right now was fully live, and that video is still up on the STX Am Tour Facebook page. Sorry, Steve, go ahead, bud.
Yeah, so MD played first, right? And then I think it was, I'm not sure the order. I think it was Austin and Mark were both long and left. In between 2 and 8 green, just left of the bunker, and then Rudy plays. Did it came down and hit the tree, right?
Yeah.
It landed between number 2 or number 3 tee box and the trees right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So then, that Rudy he had punched out just short of the bunker, short of the green, didn't he?
Yeah. Yep.
And then
Yeah,
he
so
hit
here-
up again, and
He was probably
And-
about 20 yards short of the green. He chipped that too.
Yeah,
And then
Yeah,
that chip
and-
shot by Rudy was amazing.
very good shot.
and
Yeah.
that putt didn't go in, and Rudy was the first eliminated
Mhm.
on hole number 2. And we had a couple big putts go in. Big putt by MD makes birdie there. Big putt by Austin just before that to make par.
And
So
Mark almost holed it from the same spot too.
yes,
Yeah, exactly.
and Rudy's putt missing only eliminated Rudy and not Rudy and Mark. If Rudy's putt goes in, they are both eliminated and thus changing the rest of the outcome. But that putt power lips out. Rudy Fuentes, fantastic tour season. Hats off to him. He held his own and looked like he belonged there alongside MD and Kacheski and Austin. And
He didn't blink at all. He
No,
didn't blink
no.
at all.
it's fantastic.
That was awesome.
And
Wow.
3 golfers move on to hole number 3. Austin bombs it. MD hits a good one. Mark hits a good one, right? Everybody was in the
Right.
fairway.
3 good drives down number 3.
And MD hits 5-iron to
Yeah.
30 yards short.
Yep.
And then Kacheski goes, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he hit a 9-iron just short of the green side bunker. Like, it was stupid. I think
Yep.
that went 9-iron went 180 or something like that.
He's feeling like a little jacked up. Downwind,
Yeah.
though. Downwind.
Yeah.
And then Austin hits 4-iron
4-iron.
to 3 feet.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Austin was just off the fairway in the rough. He had a little bit of an upslope. The lie wasn't great though, right, Steven?
It was an okay lie, but what made it tough was the ball was above his feet, and then
Sure.
when MD and Kacheski laid up, me and Travis. I was right side of the green. Travis was behind the green, and all we can see is Austin hit it, and I managed to pick it out coming through the air, and I was like, it needs to go. I thought it was going to hit the top
And
of the.
that's right when I picked it up and I saw it just cover the front edge, and it was awesome. And it
Yeah.
trundled forward.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness,
It
I
needs
thought it was
amazing.
going in.
Oh
I thought it was going in.
goodness, that was a good.
So we were both right there. Like I was gonna say from me to you. Like I was, right?
Well, standing behind Austin, the sound of the strike was pure, absolutely pure. He couldn't have hit it any better. So I'm not too surprised that it was that close.
And MD hits his 3rd shot close and,
Really good chip shot.
and makes birdie, and Austin makes his eagle putt.
Yeah.
And Mark makes par, and Mark Kacheski is eliminated on the 3rd hole. Second victim of the 2024 horse race. Fantastic season.
Fantastic.
Amazing ambassador. Great dude, great guy.
Great guy.
Oh man, you could see it was a dagger to the heart.
Yeah. The problem with this horse race is, like most horse races, I had no idea who to root for. Like, I didn't want to root against MD, didn't want to root against Mark, didn't want to root against Rudy. I mean, it was.
I was
as a
just
spectator,
doing my best on camera to act like Steven and just be third party narrator. as
Yeah,
much as I
exactly.
could, right?
Yeah, I was rooting for
But
all of them.
Austin and MD have hole number 4 together.
Austin-
And
Ball there too. Good up and down.
yes,
Really good, yeah. So let's
second
talk
shot
about
was short.
talk about 4 real quick tee shots, because Austin, just real quick, back to number 1 tee, that first tee shot. I haven't seen a tee shot go that far right in a long time off number one. Like it was over the path left of 3. It was on number 4, basically, right?
After those 4 tee shots on number 1, I kind of said, I was like, oh, okay. And I never thought we were going to get what we saw after seeing them 4 tee shots.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So
MD hit a good one. I'm sorry. We're loving
oh yeah.
that. I'm
So
sorry.
well, MD sprayed it right too because he was along the tree line and he never goes right, so it just stayed out there right. So technically, that's a
I love
sprayed
how
right
it's
for
like
MD.
one foot into the ropes. Shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But so on number 4, Austin went with a 3-wood. So Austin went with a 3-wood, and on the video, I incorrectly said he hit a driver. But I was thinking, man, I would. You got that in the back of your head. That first tee shot went going way right, and on 4 and 5, there's nothing but OB on the right hand side. Yeah, but Austin and MD both hit great drives, both hit great approach shots, and tied number 4. And that, but then the tee shot on number 5, also, Austin decided to go with that 3-wood again, and it went right on him.
It went right, and it went OB right, and it should have been OB.
Should have been.
But it hits the right edge of the Catalpa and slingshots back into play.
Oh, geez.
Not in the best position, but in play with Austin getting a stroke on hole number 5.
Yeah.
Like usual, MD's picking lawnmower stripes and hits it right down the middle.
Yeah.
And one thing that hasn't been talked about and is not going to ever get talked about, and I want to mention this, on hole number 1 and hole number 2, not so much on 3. 3 was played pretty fast, but and this spot on hole number 5, on 1, 2, and 5, MD waited a long time to hit his second shot.
Yeah.
There was maybe an outside agency picked up a spectator's ball, and there was, if you're watching the Facebook video, it started off slow, right? And MD hit it down the middle and was the last to play, and it felt like forever before MD hit his second shot on 1, and then he hits it on the green on 2, and the only person to hit the green on 2, and has to wait for Rudy hit it twice. Mark missed a green. Austin chipped as well. So there was a long time there. So MD's, mental fortitude, waiting to play. I noticed it, and I just wanted to comment on it.
But also during the round on 5, he went right on 5 off that tee shot, and I was like, oh crap, is that going through his head?
Like tripping 5.
yeah, exactly. 5 did not go well for MD during the round, but during the horse race, it was a little bit different.
And then Austin's second shot goes long left.
Yeah, he tries
he tries to hit the shot, right?
Yeah, punch a 4-iron around the tree, underneath the tree, and then have it fade back to the green, and it just stayed straight, unfortunately.
And missed long left, kind of put himself in jail a little bit, and that's where the momentum really swung to MD in the middle of the fairway. Second shot on the green, 2-putt par.
Good second shot.
Really good second shot.
It's awesome, and man, did Austin play good! And then Austin got a break to stay in it, and then that second shot just didn't go the way he had planned, and allowed MD onto Riverside, as his caption reads there. Stephen, Brad, and myself, it's really cool to talk about this with MD because it really felt like we were watching it on television while we were watching it live.
Absolutely.
And it was a really cool experience, and it was really cool to talk about it in this way on the podcast. In a positive manner. I would have also liked to see you interview Austin on the podcast tonight. If Austin would have beat you on that,
I would have been sick.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, right.
6 tonight.
But MD Mike Dermanuelian, congratulations, your 2024 horse race winner. and it was so cool. It was my favorite horse race.
Yeah, cool.
Certainly the most highlight reel worthy, the biggest sparks, and I'll tell you what, there's no way you could have wrote that if a group of writers were tasked with scripting it.
I agree.
It was so cool.
Yeah, they're definitely not picking me to win.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. You get picked 4 out of 4 every time.
Yeah. I am first out every time.
Yes. Or last pick for kickball. One of the two. But there is a video. There's a highlight reel video. It's a couple minutes long. Hang with us. We're going to play this video. Then we're going to come back and wrap up. Anything else, MD, before we cut to the video?
No. We got this video. We got some really, really cool shots.
Oh, Austin's on. Austin jumped on and made a great comment. Most fun he's ever had playing golf. Austin Perryman.
That's awesome.
Man, it makes you want it. It makes you want it bad.
Yeah, for sure.
It certainly was the most, and this is prior to, the 5th hole and it being done and everything like that. But, it 100% was the most fun golf I've ever played. It felt like the most locked in I've ever played. And it was just in general. I know I brought it up on the podcast a few times before. Like if I was in the horse race, I was going to give you guys a show. I did not think I would end up in the horse race, and I didn't think I'd give you a show.
I'll tell you what, I was with Steven, though, after the first tee shots. I was like, whoa, what did we get ourselves into here? But then it turned into something pretty special. Everybody enjoy the 2024 horse race, produced and won by Mike Dermanuelian.
So when it looks like me a lot on video, we all know why. Thanks.
We can commentate our commentating.
Yes, so Austin Perryman.
Back a hole number 2. This is Austin for par.
Very tough to do to judge the pace.
Drifting right down there. Looks fantastic.
Oh my God.
And keep in mind, you've got 50, 60 people hanging around watching.
Huge.
There's 80 people on the first tee
That's
box.
over 20 feet. Stretching 25 feet over, drifting over the ridge and down and in. Austin Perryman,
Oh my
everybody.
gosh, I sound excited. Good Lord. This is Mark
Steven Evans had the best
Kaczewski
reaction.
for 3 as well.
As this got over the slope,
That's
it
away.
looked like it was going
Over
in.
the hill.
Really good speed. Stay up.
Oh, just misses.
I mean,
low.
if you look at where that ball's on the shadow and look at where mine is on the shadow, it's nothing.
This is MD for birdie.
Huge putts.
Almost
So
the
far
exact
along
same
this ridge.
spot, rocking the
Here
one
comes
half
MD.
feet.
Another good.
And
That
this
line down a
goes
little.
down.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
What's
2 for
going
1.
on in the 2024 horse race? Oh my gosh, the commentating.
Walks off
Oh my goodness!
like it's nothing. My goodness.
209 to cover the
He was
front
having a good time.
He had a great time.
Hell of a time.
I believe
this
this
is
is
the
definitely
4-iron.
in green
This
light
is the
district right
4-iron
here. This
on
is go
number
time.
3, second shot,
Austin Perryman. Ball coming.
Great strike.
Right at it. It's
I
going to
see
carry a
it.
little
I
bit.
see it. It's gonna go. Oh, it's an amazing shot. Oh my
That is a
God.
phenomenal shot from Austin Perryman.
With a 4-iron, Steven. I told you.
I mean,
It is 4
commentating
feet
here, guys.
short.
That is guys.
Fantastic clutch shot in the horse race.
Austin Perryman for eagle on hole number 3. This goes in, everybody.
There
That's
you
a
go.
360.
Used every bit of the
That
count.
whole hole.
Really awesome.
Now we have MD.
Big shout out to Casey Graham on the bag on Saturday.
And this is
Sunday.
this is
correct.
quite honestly, this putt misses and Austin Perryman wins the horse race right here.
Really good putt. Really good putt.
Didn't
Right?
put any
Mark
video.
Perryman.
If-
Ball
if
in the air.
MD doesn't
Launched
make that,
right.
Austin Perryman
This looks
wins.
right. This is way right. This is
Didn't do
trouble,
that
guys.
putt enough.
This is
Credit.
OB.
This is OB right.
This is OB right. He is aiming to 6 fairway, it looks like. but it is launched right, but it is drawing. This is going to be safe. This is going to be on the
Down
right
the
side
center
of the fairway.
cut. Great shot. Great shot.
Casey,
Yeah,
Casey had
perfect.
to
Yep,
call me
that's
back
great
to remind
line,
me that
middle of the fairway.
Austin had to hit.
Does Anthony's second shot at number 5?
Drawing back right at the pin. It's going to be just left of the pin.
Excellent shot. 7 feet right in front of the flag, inside the flag for sure.
Now.
Might take 2 and you can do it in 1.
Just outside.
Touch the lip there.
That's it. That's it.
Ladies and gentlemen.
MD has won the horse
Casually
race.
just taps it in, taps it backwards.
Casey called me that night, and he's like, "Hey, don't ever do that shit again." He's like, "When you stepped over that, he's like, if you screwed that up, I would have just." I'm like, never even occurred to me. Never even occurred to me.
People are still there after 5 holes. Manny
Yeah.
Puckett's there. There's Art Mesa.
is now in the Borglum studio. May I have the team members?
Even Steven, I don't know if you saw her, but even Maddie got in line. I got a hug from her when she was done. When I was done.
Wow, that was cool to watch again. I apologize for the color commentary. It was over the top at times.
I mean, there were insane shots that created.
That video is 1.5 hours long, and it is available on the STX Am Tour Facebook page. Ladies and gentlemen, the South Texas Match Play Challenge team is filled. 20 golfers, 18 days until November 9th and 10th at Riverside Golf Course. The South Texas Amateur Golf Tour versus the Houston Amateur Golf Association in the 11th annual South Texas Match Play Challenge. Myself and co-captain Jason Bird lead a team that is maybe not quite as low handicap as last year, but everybody on that board is a personality. This team is the loudest, the most vibrant. It's so cool and so fun. Dennis Danowski, Greg Graff, and Willie Nichols from the spring season on the Trail Division. Bob North and Jeremy Jaramillo. Bob North. If anybody's playing that game tonight. Bob North and Jeremy Jaramillo from the Greater Hill Country Division. Stephen Evans on the air with us tonight. Sean Vidal, Brad Gilbert here, and Jonathan Harder from the Summer Trail Division. Ben Carricker, the first ever captain's pick in South Texas Match Play Challenge history. And from the playoffs, Dustin Weldon, Michael Hudson, Tim Blunt, Art Mesa, Weston Irie, Danny Lee, David Thomas, and your horse race winner joining the sponsor selections, David Falconer and Rick Hoinsey. Mike Dermanuelian gets the 20th spot. First time there's 20, and the first one to get the 20th spots. MD, and man living, did he earn it. And you couldn't write it. And it was cool to watch. Congratulations, buddy.
I want to, again, give a shout out to you guys. I got a couple of videos. My mom sent me a video. My dad was on his iPad like this, staring at the screen for an hour and a half, and was locked in. Cindy, who doesn't really 100% understand the horse race or what the hell's going on, recorded herself, and I wish I had downloaded it and put it on here. She watched the whole thing. She was stressed out, texting back and forth. But she recorded herself on her phone when she was watching it on the iPad. And it took her about 6 seconds, and really 6 seconds, to realize that it was over and that I had won. And then she lost her shit. But you guys had... You guys had anybody watching, and I've talked to other people as well about it. You guys absolutely crushed it. Shout out to Bird as well for his commentating.
Great job.
He was fantastic.
Official in charge, official scorekeeper. I love him in that role. It's the 3rd or 4th year in a row he's done that during the live, and it's really cool. I really like that.
So, I mean, you guys were absolutely fantastic. And I mean, again, you guys absolutely crushed it. The commentary was absolutely fantastic. You guys made it. You guys brought that electricity to it. I mean, you heard it.
Next year, we're just going to give the link to a couple other camera angles, not commentary, so we can have some other camera angle views in there. Casey Graham, I agree with this comment, and I also agree with the comment that David made just below it. Casey's comment, Austin was
ice in the veins. Wow. If it was me playing Austin that day, Casey would have been amazing. Would love to have him on a future team. That sentiment reiterated by DT. Would love to see him in match play format. Absolute ice.
Yeah, I mean, he was. I mean, shout out to all those guys as well. I think everyone I talk to, it's very funny. I think everyone I talk to when it comes to the horse race, everyone is like, I don't want to be in the horse race. They hear they're in the horse race, and I'll even be honest with you. In the moment, I didn't ever think about horse race. I certainly wasn't anticipating it. But you think the horse race, and you're like, shit, I played my way into the horse race. And Casey and I had a good conversation about just earlier in the day about mentality. And the first thing we thought of was like, hey, we played good enough to be in the horse race.
Right. And that's what I'm thinking too. I look at that from both sides of the spectrum, and it was fun to have conversations with both sides. It was like, oh, I didn't play good, I'm going to end up in the horse race. And it's, oh, I won, I'm shooting for the horse race. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it was fun to see that different dynamic.
And I also think, again, I think when you get Rudy held his own really, really well and didn't show any nerves. But I also think it's really cool. You know, I don't think there's really been much of a time where we've seen 2 or 3 champ fighters in there as well. And that's, I think,
I don't think there's ever been 3.
I think you maybe have, you know, that first tee shot jitter. But I mean, it seemed like after that, you know, I personally was feeling perfectly fine. I feel like Austin was just making so many amazing putts and doing so many amazing things off the with his irons. It was nothing to be scared of.
Yeah, it was really cool to watch.
Just such a cool thing. And we do also want to give a huge shout out, guys. It's South Texas Match Play Challenge has been going on for 11 years. For the first 6 years, there was a time where, you know, if you made the team, you were putting in some money of your own for the, you know, team gear and stuff like that. It wasn't something that we were able to cover.
Yep.
And the last 5 years, we have been fortunate enough to have great partnerships that have made the South Texas Match Play Challenge possible.
Yes.
And we've been fortunate enough to have great sponsors and partners to make the tour possible and to make the things going on in the background, maybe some of the things that you guys don't notice, maybe some of the things you do notice. Nothing is done without those guys. So we also, as we wrap up the 2024 season, we want to give just the most love possible. First off to Ben Carricker, Alex Artucci at the San Pedro Club and Repair Studio. They are both amazing human beings. They've done nothing but support the tour, support the tour players, and also, you know, be out on the course with us. Excited to have Ben on the team, and I know Alex will be on the bag for him. The cake place and more with Laura Lewis. You can't think of Sean Vidal without thinking about Laura Lewis, and you can't think about the Cookie Mafia without thinking about Laura Lewis.
Heck yeah! Hashtag victory cookies, baby. Whoop, whoop. I love it.
Her 2024 cookie designs were somehow better than 2023, and yet I also know that 2025 is going to be
for the match.
What was that, Stephen? I'm sorry.
Usually makes cookies for the match play. Remember when we were in Wildcat?
Yes. Who knows? Who knows?
Yep.
Hope so.
We also want to give a absolutely huge shout out to our friend at Global Fairway Logistics, Danny Puckett.
Danny was there on Sunday playing, competing hard.
Yeah.
Dude fought hard. Dude wanted it more than anybody, and I know he came up a little short, and you know, I have nothing but respect for him, especially, you know, being able to come down to Borglum and talk to us a little bit and talk about what he was going to be doing and bringing to the team this year from a documentary standpoint. But all of his work, whether you guys know it or not, the graphics, the video that you see when you're driving the golf cart, a lot of.
Yeah, we're going to try to get Danny on the podcast next week when we start talking about South Texas Match Play Challenge stuff.
Perfect. We also want to give a big shout out to Cairo Services Group LLC. That is Micah Carroll, ambassador. All the land improvement services that he offers, all the different things he can do for you. Give him a call. And he also puts a lot of money into the tour and making sure that some of our partners are able to do certain things for us, and we appreciate that more than anything.
And Cairo Services is one of the presenting sponsors of Matchup Mayhem 2.0, the documentary on the South Texas Match Play Challenge that Danny Puckett and Global Fairway Logistics produces.
Yes. And of course, we got to give a shout out to the man, the myth, the legend, South Texas Match Play Challenge team member and presenting sponsor, Shelby AC and Refrigeration's very own David Falconier. Falconer for the
Falconer, baby.
For the unsophisticated.
Hey, Falcon.
Shelby AC and Refrigeration. Give him a call for all of your AC and refrigeration needs. He has been busy this year. He's still there's still plenty of things that need to get done. I know I have AC issues, and I know there's plenty of people down in San Antonio that do. Don't be scared of the Rockport number. Call that man at 361-386-2886. And you are going to get David Falconer, and you are going to get help in San Antonio. So big shout out to all of our sponsors. Appreciate them. Appreciate what we were able to get done this year because of them. And excited to bring some of those partners to Riverside.
Heck
and
yeah.
be playing
Super
side by side.
Absolutely. Well, MD, next week on the show, look for a special day and time maybe coming out in the newsletter, so pay attention to that. But it will be the South Texas Match Play Challenge Special Edition. Some guest interviews, some Riverside course analysis, and if the team captains can get together and get on the same page in the next week, we would love to reveal the pairings to this year's South Texas Match Play Challenge live on the air next week.
I think it'd be really cool.
Are we going to find out who our partners are before that? Or
I don't think so. I
don't think so. I don't think so. If we can get it done, we're going to do it live on the show.
right.
I do also want to give a shout out while we're giving shout outs, not only to our presenting sponsors, not only to our incredible team of ambassadors who helped put on a hell of a tour this year. Want to give a shout out as well to all of our significant others. We spend, those of us especially who work on the tour and those of us who also compete, we all spend a lot of time away from the family, whether we're playing golf, practicing, whatever it may be. And more importantly, we somehow all manage to find some people in our lives who actually support our craziness and this passion.
Crap.
Support the
If
crazy.
you're-
Support the crazy.
If your
Crazy.
tour season is over, go hug your significant other, say thank you. If you're one of our wives and we've still got a couple of weeks of this left, but then
we'll start traveling in the off season. Special thank you. I agree, MD. Echoing 100,000%. Special thank you to all the wives and girlfriends and significant others out there. And just always put in the back of your mind or the front of your thoughts, wherever it needs to be, the back, left, right, center, solid game. Shout out to Sabrina. Shout out to Sabrina Salkowski in this segment. 3 weeks ago at Brackenridge Park. Celebrated our 18th wedding anniversary at Brackenridge Park for 12 hours. And then just this past Sunday was her 41st birthday at Brackenridge Park again for a tour event for 15 hours. So shout out to Brizzo for
You guys always have big moments at Brack.
for grinding it out, you know. Kaylin was born while I was running a golf tournament at Riverside, you know, and
It's always something. It's always the golf course. It's always something.
Always something.
But yeah, shout out to all the significant others that let the husbands, boyfriends, and the rest of y'all get out and play and practice and grind it out and pursue this passion that we all know and love and define as crazy.
And kids.
And kids.
Yeah.
And shout out to the kids. I mean, I go out to try and win a cookie because I feel a little less guilty about playing as much golf as I do, but at least I can give Emma a cookie.
Nah, Kaylin's 12. She needs to get a job.
But then when you come home and they're like, Dad, where's your cookie? Don't talk.
Yeah. They're like, Dad, you're not good at golf anymore? I've had that question, and it's a devastating
David
thing.
Falconer's wife and Sabrina have the same birthday. Yes.
Shout out. Happy belated to Miss Falconer.
That's Miss Shelby AC.
Miss Shelby AC. I mean, yeah, and I can't do, and you know this, and I think because she came up on a golf course with you, I think she kind of gets it. But also, just big shout out to how well Maddie was behaved all day, both days. She was great.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh,
Yeah, Maddie was
good
awesome.
Lord. Parent of the year, Stephen Evans.
She loves it. She loves going on the golf course.
They didn't get it on video, but as I'm walking to the fourth tee box, she came up and said, "I'm gonna get you," and like I took off running, and she like tagged me, and then I chased her back towards the green. I was like, she's just having a good time and having a blast. Like, how can you not just smile at it?
And Stephen Evans, Father of the Year, and probably gets a little help from his wife Jessica. You know?
Jessica obviously taught them everything.
I just wanted to say that just in case she's watching. It's not all Stephen, I'm sure. I want you to know
but-
that I know that.
But Steven, if you think, and I don't care what you say, there is no way in hell that you and Jessica don't love the idea of bringing the kids there, because you also know people are going to play with those kids and you get a little break.
Yeah.
Jessica's like, "Oh, you want to hold the baby? Yeah, take her."
I know Morgan has a soft spot for Chelsea.
Yeah, she does. Oh, she was loving it. Be afraid, bird.
And I will say that I handed Maddie my credit card to pay on Sunday, and she knew exactly what to do. So sorry about that, Steven. It's gonna
well, last year at South Texas, Maddie was like the little team mascot for the whole thing too. Like, she was having a blast there in
Picture of
Magnolia.
your kid in the trophy last year was amazing. That was cool.
Hopefully we can recreate that one this year.
Chelsea ain't fitting in that one now.
Fitting in it though.
That,
but on top of it.
yeah. I'm excited. I told Emma, I'm like, "Hey, Daddy's on the same team with Maddie's dad, so I think Maddie's gonna be there." She's like, "Oh, okay." Like, she's so excited.
Oh yeah, that'll be.
It'll be good. But guys, I think that's gonna go ahead and kind of wrap it up for us. We appreciate everyone for hanging out.
Long show. Holy cow.
Long show. We're gonna get
Almost
shut
a
off
2-hour banger.
At the 2 hour. Yeah, I mean, the one time Bird's not here to say it feels like a 2 hour banger.
I know.
2 hour banger. Big shout out to Stephen Evans hopping on the show with us. We appreciate it, buddy.
Maybe we can get him on the special edition next week too to share his favorite STMPC memories of the last half of a decade.
Yeah. No, I work nights next week.
Lame.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I wasted everybody's time there. You can
No,
never
you know
get
what?
that back.
I can always, he and I can do a separate, and I can record it and add it.
Oh, MD to the rescue. Time
It has to be done
unwasted.
before. It has to be
Good
done
job.
before Saturday because I'll be in Mexico till Wednesday. It's time. It's time for me to hang out with my wife for a while, and finally get some time back. So I'm taking a break from the tour for 4 days.
I also have an off weekend planned. I'm gonna walk the back nine at Riverside a little bit, find my happy place back there this weekend, and enjoy the off weekend before it's match play.
And
I'm playing Riverside in the morning. I think 8:10.
Woo!
the weird
Everybody,
schedule
thank
have,
you
but
for
it's
watching us tonight. It is October 23rd. We've been live here for just under 2 hours. Thank you for hanging out with us. Shout out to everybody who qualified for the 2024 South Texas Match Play Challenge team. I am thrilled to captain this team and to utterly dominate at Riverside in a couple weeks. I can't wait. Unapologetically STX Am Tour. Everybody, thanks for watching. Tune in next week for a South Texas Match Play special edition segment. And then in 2 weeks, live from the driving range, practice session with the team.
Yeah.
Super cool. Can't wait. Weather pending. That event got canceled last year because it was cold.
It was freezing.
But
Freezing.
hopefully we get it this year. And we're in a little bit of early, late, second or third fall / late season, summer. I don't know. Woo! David Thomas looking forward to defending home turf and getting the big W against Houston.
Hell yeah.
Great
All right,
show,
guys.
everybody.
Well,
Steven, thank you for joining us. MD, take us away.
all right, guys. Thank you for hanging out tonight. Appreciate all these guys on the screen here. Appreciate everyone out there watching. Tune in for next week's show. It's going to be really exciting, talking South Texas Match Play Challenge. Then, of course, we've got Live from the Range, and then we move to we actually move to the event itself. But lots to talk about over the next few weeks, and we will see you bright and late, actually, darker and later on Wednesday night. Everyone, have a good evening.
Good night, guys.
Talk to you soon.